And now your man, Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 495th edition of TSR Live. It is Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. We are streaming, as always, live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So however you are watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. Let's go ahead and get into it. Men and women alike are well aware of the fact that sexual relations between men and women have never been more screwed up. Everyone knows it. I'm not breaking news here. Now, men handle this in one of a few ways. They either stick their head in the sand and continue to do the things that they've been doing and hoping that one day what they're doing will eventually work. They completely check out and not have anything to do with women sexually, or they take the red pill and learn how to become successful with women in this environment. Now, there are also men who take extreme measures like suicide, homicide, and in some cases both. Those are your outlier situations. Elliot Rodger, Alec Manassian, Nicholas Cruz come to mind, and so on and so forth. But by and large, most men remain willfully ignorant, stop talking to girls altogether, or they take the red pill. Now, women, on the other hand, pretty much handle it the same way across the board. They bitch and complain, but they do not change anything. They'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll behave badly, and they won't make any improvement to themselves. They won't really make an attempt for that matter. Then they turn around and ask that same question: where have all the good men gone after a decade plus of sleeping around? Now, as a side note here, you guys can say what you will about involuntary celibates and low-level MGTOWs. At least they found a workable solution that works best for them. This isn't something that I would do personally. This isn't something that I would recommend that men do. But at least these guys have figured something out that works for them. So for better or worse, most men seek out solutions while women seek to complain and expect the environment around them to change in order to suit their needs and their wants. Now, every woman out there has these fantasies of the perfect relationship with a man they respect and love. But contrary to popular belief, women don't really expect perfection. They may act like they do, but at the end of the day, they know that there's no such thing as the perfect guy. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of women out there who have dumped guys for insignificant reasons because they really are looking for Mr. Perfect. I'd even go as far as to say that most women have dumped a guy they had no business dumping because of something trivial in hopes of finding that perfect guy. Even still, most women are well aware of the fact that even the best men out there have their faults. Even the best men out there have their weaknesses, their frailties. And if the pros outweigh the cons, then they are willing to give a guy an honest try. But here is the problem. While most women know how to get and keep a man's attention, they are grossly unaware of how to get and maintain a man's trust. Here is a bigger problem. Women have no idea that they have to proactively gain a man's trust, a man of value. These women out here are utterly clueless that men in demand, and I want to make that distinction here. We're not just talking about your run-of-the-mill average guys. We're talking about high-level, high-value men in demand. Now, most women foolishly think that all they have to do is tell a guy that they are faithful, trustworthy, and honest. They are utterly clueless that men in demand do not trust them when they meet them at first. Okay? All they feel like they have to do is just tell a guy, well, I'm faithful, I'm trustworthy, I'm honest, and that men of value will simply believe them because it came out of their mouths. Well, another misconception that women have of high-value men is that they don't have to earn his trust. Women believe that these men out here foolishly believe in the notion, I'll trust anyone until they give me a reason not to trust them. We've all heard this before. And the people that say it always think that, well, I'll trust you until you give me reason not to. They think they're being discriminatory. They think they're being, they think they're next level. Nah, man. Unfortunately for women, they end up finding out the hard way when a guy they could see themselves with being for a long time ends up leaving them for what they assume is no apparent reason. And because they absolutely have no idea that the reason he left in the first place is because she did nothing to earn his trust. But because she has no idea, she takes those same habits into the next relationship and makes the same mistakes and gets the same results. Now, women already know that high-value men want obedient, submissive women. They know that high-value men want women who are in good shape, that can cook, clean, never deny them sex, never disrespect them in public or private, and so on and so forth. But what women these days seem to be clueless about is how to gain a man's trust and then keep it, or that it's even necessary to proactively do so without being told. They think that if they look good, cook good, and give him sex anytime he wants, that it's enough to secure a commitment from him. They also seem to be clueless about the fact that high-value men, we are well aware of how easy it is for women to cheat. We know how easy it is for women to cheat. And this is exactly why women assume that men automatically trust them based on their word alone. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell women what they need to do to gain a man's trust so that he will want to commit to her long term. But guess what? 99.9% of women will never do these 7 things. Like I said in the title, man, better than 9 out of 10 women would never even dream about doing these things. And this is the reason why I rarely give advice to females. But Uncle Donovan wants to help today. Uncle Donovan wants to help the 0.01% of women out there who actually want to learn. Believe it or not, guys, this might be hard to believe, but these women are out there. They're few and far between, but they do exist. Now, let's get one thing straight before we get started here. Every woman wants to be in a relationship. Every woman wants to be in a long-term relationship of consequence with a man they respect and love, high-value men. This is always their end game. They can talk all they want about sleeping around to get it out of their system, right? They can talk all they want about being strong and independent, but at the end of the day, a relationship is their end goal. Now, no woman wants to be sleeping with 6 guys. They want to be sleeping with 1. Even if she is sleeping with a bunch of guys, she only wants to be in a long-term relationship with one of them. That's the guy who gets anal sex. That's the guy who gets good treatment. This is the guy who gets treated the best. So I'm going to tell women, the less than 0.5% of women, what needs to be done to gain a man's trust. And listen, if the other 99.9% decides to give it a try, then good for you. Understand this, ladies. If a man of value does not trust you, he is not going to get into a long-term relationship with you. That's all there is to it. He may sleep with you for a little while, and he may even take a trip or 2 with you. But at the end of the day, if he does not trust you 100%, he will not commit. I'm going to say this a third time. Better than 99% of women who hear this, you guys are going to laugh at all this stuff. You guys are going to say, oh, there's no way that I would ever do this stuff. There's no way that women are out here doing this stuff. He's off his rocker. Donovan's full of it. That's fine. But again, for the 0.1% who has a feeling this might be necessary, you ladies keep listening. Now, for the men watching, it is important to understand that women aren't going to do this stuff for just anybody. Women have to know you're the real deal. They have to know that you're confident. They have to know that you're masculine. They have to know that you demand her best. They have to trust your judgment. They need to know that you can keep her in line. So, ladies, you've got your guy. You know he's the genuine article, and you see potential. You see a future. So here are 7 necessary things that 99.9% of women will never do to earn a man's trust. I'm going to warn you, every one of these is extreme, at least in terms of the way a woman thinks. But men in demand these days, we know that the technology available to women in the palm of your hands makes cheating and not getting caught extremely easy. So let's go ahead and get started here. Number 1, check in every few hours with a picture and a text. In order to trust you, he has to know where you are, what you're doing, and who you are doing it with. The reason this is necessary is because I've been the other man. I've been the guy that the girl cheats. Listen, I've been cheated on plenty of times. Girls cheat with me. Girls cheated with me all the time. I've slept with plenty of wives who tell me, oh, he'll never find out. He doesn't ask me where I am or what I'm doing. Half the time, he doesn't even know. They tell me how they got away with it. And it's interesting. I was sleeping with this one girl, and she actually told me how she got away with it. I actually mentioned this back in episode 83, which will be available here within the next few weeks because I'm releasing all of my archive post on Patreon. But before I tell you this crazy story, I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know. Spare me the moralistic narrative. Oh, Donovan, you shouldn't be sleeping with wife. Dude, get the hell out of here with that. If a wife wants to cheat, she's going to cheat. And if she doesn't sleep with you, she's going to sleep with someone else. So it may as well be you. Okay? And again, listen, I'm not suggesting that you go after other people's wives. But if a woman wants to cheat, she's going to cheat. If it's not you, it's going to be somebody else. Here's another thing. There's no such thing as karma. So spare me with the karma nonsense. Well, what goes around comes around. No. You're being a coward and hiding behind karma to keep from taking advantage of these easy targets who are literally throwing their panties at you. It's transparent. Anyway, here's what this woman would do to get away with cheating with me. Okay? She would take pictures with a friend of hers in the same outfit at Starbucks or the mall or wherever she wanted her husband to believe that she was at the time. So when the day came for her to see me, she would wear that same outfit. While she's with me, her friend posts on Facebook and tags her and her husband in the pictures that she took a day or two before. So he sees the pictures of his wife and her friend at Starbucks with the same outfit on. So he assumes that she's at Starbucks drinking lattes with her bestie, when in actuality, she's in a hotel room with me getting her back blown out. Believe it or not, ladies, most high-value men, we know that you are promiscuous. We know that you sleep around. Most men don't say it, but we know it. I'm an exception to the rule. I know women are sluts, so I say, hey, listen, I know most women are sluts. But for high-value guys walking around out there who don't have a podcast, who aren't, who don't have a red pill blog, they know these things too. Just because they say it doesn't mean they don't know. Men of value do not have time for this. He's not going to require you to check it. He's not going to voice that. If you want to show him that he can trust you, you have to be proactive. Check in at work. Hey, babe, I just got to work. Got a hefty workload. Devin will send me her work schedule, so I'll know if she's in a meeting working on a project. So if I don't hear from her 3-4 hours, I know she's in a meeting. And even then, she'll shoot me a text message 30-45 minutes in. Hey, still at the meeting. Take a quick selfie of her in the office, whatever. Now, why does Devin do this? Well, this is simple. She wants there to be zero doubt in my mind that she is doing what she says she is doing. If there is any doubt in his mind whatsoever about where you are, what you're doing, and who you're doing it with, he's not going to lock you down. He might not say it. He might not call you out for disappearing. But when you're disappearing for hours at a time, with no explanation, 5%ers, we know the BS explanations. Oh, my friend is going through a breakup and needs me. Then 4 hours later, she's calling you to tell you that she's too tired to come over. Or, I got called into work and they really need me. And then she texts you the next day telling you that she fell asleep when she got back home. Again, he's not going to call you out on this, but he's going to next you and you're going to wonder why. Ladies, you always wonder why a guy who seems to like you a lot all of a sudden goes cold on you, or just all of a sudden ghosts you. Well, it's because you are disappearing for hours at a time doing God knows what with God knows who. And don't act like we don't know, right? Don't act like we don't know because we're not there, because we do. We're not stupid. Just because we don't catch you with your hand in the cookie jar doesn't mean we don't know that you've been eating cookies. So check in with him periodically to let him know your whereabouts. The more frequent, the better. Simple math. Number 2, this is where we're going to lose a lot of ladies here, right? Okay, so I don't know, 50% of you said, okay, I don't mind checking in with him. Guess what? I'm about to slash that percentage here with number 2. Give him access to your phone. Yes, I said that right. Give him access to your phone. No password, no lock, no facial recognition. A telltale sign of a girl that is promiscuous is when she puts her phone face down all the time, or she has a lock or a code on her phone. Now, some girls might say, well, that's my personal phone and that's my private business. He has no right to that information. And you're right. He has no right to that information, and he has no right to invade your privacy. He does not. But he does have the right to dismiss you as a slut if you are hiding things from him. And if you don't, and if you have nothing to hide, like all of you guys say that you, well, I have nothing to hide. You guys all say that. But if you really do have nothing to hide, then you'll have no problem giving him access to your phone when he asks for it. It's that simple. Ladies, listen, most cheating is done on phones. We know this. Men know this. dating apps, Tinder, OkCupid, Ashley Madison, WhatsApp, Snapchat. Every website, every vehicle on the internet is used for hooking up and cheating. Even LinkedIn has turned into sort of a quasi-dating site now. LinkedIn used to be a place where you can go to get noticed by potential employers, maybe do some networking. Nope. Even that has morphed into corporate Tinder. Giving him access to your phone alleviates a lot of the doubt in his mind. Anytime you're in your man's presence, and ladies, you have to know this. And if you don't understand what I'm about to tell me, allow me to clue you in. But if you're at your man's house watching TV or watching a movie or whatever, and you start messing around on your phone, guess what? He's going to assume you are talking to another guy. He can't prove what you're doing. He can't prove what you're not doing. But if he is a man with red pill awareness, if he is a man with experience with women, which is the kind of man you want to be with in the first place, he is going to assume you are texting someone you shouldn't be texting, i.e. someone you are trying to sleep with or are sleeping with. Now, some girls might say, well, I could be texting a friend of mine. Yeah. And that friend could also be your friend with benefits that you're setting up a meetup with after you leave his place because you tell him you're tired and have to get up and go get up and go to work early tomorrow. Ladies, leave no doubt. Give him access to your phone. If you really want to be with him, if he's really the guy that you can see yourself with long term, then you're going to have to give up your privacy and eventually all of your autonomy. If you don't want to give him access to your phone, that's fine. That is your choice. That is your right. But don't be surprised when he tells you it's time for you two to go your separate ways. If you don't want to give him access to your phone, then you're not ready to be in a relationship of consequence with a man of value, period. Again, you might think you have a great relationship with a great guy. You guys might seem solid. Everything is going great, but for some reason, he just won't commit. And when you put the squeeze on him to propose or to move in or to commit to you, he bounces. And then girls ask why. Why did he leave? Everything was great. He doesn't trust you. That's why. You're always on your phone, and when you don't think when you don't think he notices that you turn your phone away from him when he looks in your direction, that's exactly when he's doing it. He knows you are doing that, turning your phone, because he knows you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing. Having sex with other men, texting ex-boyfriends, hooking up with past friends with benefits. 5%ers, high-value men in demand, are not going to commit to you if they do not trust you 100%. By the way, as a side note, maybe a lot of you guys are first-time listeners or don't follow me on social media. You guys are probably thinking, okay, Donovan, you're telling us to do all of this stuff, but there is no way Devin does this stuff for me. Au contraire. Oh, yes, she does. Everything I'm talking about in this particular episode, Devin does. I have full access to her phone. She checks in wherever she goes, whether it's work, an errand, or whatever. She also has a GPS tracker on her phone. I know exactly where she is at all times. And guess what? The GPS was her idea, not mine. She suggested the keylogger and GPS. She gave me access to her security system at her old apartment before we even lived together. Again, her idea. I knew when she left home, I knew when she came home, and I had access to her cameras in her apartment. I never asked her to do any of these things because I wasn't thinking about a long-term relationship with her. She was proactive because she wanted a relationship with me. She did this because she wanted to leave no doubt that I could trust her. She wanted to leave no doubt that there was nobody else but me. But Donovan, that's just too much access. Then you're not ready to be in a relationship of consequence with a man you respect and love long-term. Look, if you're not ready to settle down with, then all of this is going to sound absolutely crazy. I mean, it is. I'm here to tell you just real talk if we're keeping it all the way real. But if you meet a guy you know you want to be with in the long term, you will have no problem doing these things. I need my privacy. You're not ready. I don't need him knowing where I am at all times. Well, why not? If you've got nothing to hide, like you say you don't, like all of you say you do, then why not? Because you're having sex with other people, and you want to be able to do so without him finding out. Ladies, the only reason you want your privacy is so that you can reserve the option to go sleep around without him knowing about it. That's it. Honestly, outside of medical information or serious family emergencies, which both can be handled over the phone or at the hospital, there's nothing you need to keep private from him except for the fact that you're arranging a meetup with your ex or a Tinder date. 2 and a half hours gone in the afternoon, you're at your ex's getting butt fucked. 3 hours gone at night, you're on a Tinder date. He will assume these things if he has red pill awareness, if he has experience with women. And again, this is the kind of man you want and need in your lives anyway. You say this is extreme? You're goddamn right it's extreme, but we live in extreme times. And if you are a woman and you really want to be with a man of value, then he has to trust you. I will say it again. Men of value do not commit to women they do not trust. Yes, this is extreme. Yes, this is going to cost money. Yes, this is going to take time. But for the right man, you will find that it is absolutely worth it to you. And if it's not worth it to you, then guess what? You just don't like him enough, and that's okay. Number 3, the third thing that 99.9% of women would never do to earn and keep a man's trust is when telling him about your day. Avoid telling him about your interactions with men, especially if you're attractive. There's no need to talk about this stuff. Ladies, listen, if you're attractive, your man knows men talk to you because they want to sleep with you. Even if you innocently entertain conversation, you're still violating his trust. Devin saw a post on Reddit. She saw a post on Reddit a while back. A woman was having trouble with gym equipment, and each time men stopped over to help her. I always have this trouble with this gym equipment. She went on and on about how it was so nice to have men help her for no reason at all. Guys, this woman is full of it. She is obviously attractive, and she wanted everyone to know that she was attractive. She wanted to indirectly tell, hey, every guys are all da-da-da-da. She wants to pretend that she doesn't know why all of these guys came over and helped her with this gym equipment. But she knows that her audience knows. That's why she had that story in the first place. She knows that every one of those guys would sleep with her if given half the chance. She knows this. If you are an attractive woman and you talk about this stuff to your man, I had lunch with Kevin in sales yesterday. Or my boss wants to start meeting with me one-on-one to discuss my future. Or, I ran into Justin at the coffee shop. Again, he knows these men want to sleep with you. But he's my boss and it's professional. Women sleep with their bosses. This is what women do. When you tell him this stuff and then you sense he's starting to feel some type of way, you'll start giving him reasons as to why you'd never sleep with him. He's fat. He's overweight. He's not my type. He's married. He has kids. He doesn't want me. Blah, 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 blah. 5%ers know this is BS. We know that the more a woman tries to convince us that she doesn't want to sleep with any given guy, the more she wants to sleep with him. Wait, you had another one-on-one with your boss and he took you to lunch this time? Babe, you have nothing to worry about. He's short and scrawny. He's ugly, balding, blah, 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 blah. Then 6 months later, your boyfriend finds out that you've been cheating on him with who? Your boss. Ladies, when you talk about your day, do not talk about your interactions with men outside of strictly work-related topics that are relevant to your story. Your man knows why men talk to you. It's not something you can control. It's not your fault. But deep down, let's keep it real here. Deep down, you know the reason you talk about this stuff is to put him on notice. You want him to know that other guys want to sleep with you. And you think that this makes you more attractive to him. Newsflash, ladies, you're not helping your cause. The things that make a man attractive to you do not make you attractive to men. Male attention is easy for women. Male attention is standard for women, especially attractive women. So while you might find him more attractive when women flirt with him, sexual attraction is not symmetrical. He's not going to find you more attractive because you indirectly tell him your boss wants to sleep with you. He's not going to want you more if you tell him that Justin at the coffee shop wants to sleep with you. 5%ers know that male attention is par for the course. Don't talk about that stuff because if you do, he knows that you're entertaining conversations with men. He knows that you're opening the door for behaviors that lead to cheating, and you both know it. Avoid talking about your interactions with men outside of strictly work-related activities. Number 4, this is the fourth thing that 99.9% of women would never do to earn and keep a man's trust, is the only male you talk to when you're in public with him is him. When you're out in public with your man, don't make conversation with other men, ladies. Well, what if he asks me what time it is or directions? Tell him my boyfriend knows. Ask him. Or my man knows. Ask him. Well, what if I'm just being polite? Sweetheart, you're not being polite. your attention, Oren, because you know the only reason men want to talk to you in public, men you don't know want to talk to you in public, is because they want to sleep with you. When you make conversation with men in public, when you are with your man, you are outright disrespecting him. If you're at a restaurant and you have a male waiter, shut up and let him order for you. Well, what if he gets my order wrong? Then you look your man in the eye and say, honey, I didn't want my steak medium. I wanted it well done. And if he has his shit together, he will handle it for you. I do this with Devin. Devin doesn't talk to waiters at all, male or female. She tells me what she wants to order, and I order for her. This relaxes her and keeps her out of trouble. If you're out by yourself, obviously, you're not going to be a mute. You're not going to sit down at a restaurant by yourself, or if you're out having lunch. And no, come on, like let's not be disingenuous, okay? But if you're with your man in public, you already know he handles his shit. You already know he has a domineering persona. You know he handles his business and your business. So there is no reason for you to talk to other men in public when you are with your man, period. Let him handle everything. Defer to him. Let him order your food. If you have a male flight attendant, same thing. OMG, this is extreme. Yes, this is extreme. But we are in extreme times. And when you are by talking to other men, when you are with your man in public, you are being disrespectful and violating his trust right in front of him. Well, how is that? Well, because if you do, he's going to be thinking, well, shit, if she's this chatty and talkative with men right in front of me, then what is she doing when I'm not around? Guys, if you want laser focus and a good, clean, controlled energy to get a lot done in a short period of time, you need Gorilla Mind Rush. I tried it 2 weeks ago, and I have used it every day since. Just 3 tablets in the morning with a cup of black coffee. I highly recommend the Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee with lion's mane and chai. You can get that on my website as well. I take three tablets along with this mushroom coffee, and my body and mind work at peak efficiency, peak operating efficiency. Now, 15 minutes after you take it, you're going to start to notice a subtle change in your mindset. 15 minutes after that, you'll start to notice that you're a little more focused. You're thinking more clearly. You'll be a little more energetic, and your motivation to be productive goes up. An hour in, you'll feel noticeably more focused, and you can concentrate even with distractions around. You're going to feel less stressed and less anxious. At 90 minutes, you are in full Gorilla Mind Rush mode. Your focus, your concentration, your memory will all be far beyond your normal state, and you will stay this way for at least 6 hours. And get this, there is no crash. That's right, guys. You get all the benefits of your mind being hyper-focused for a long period of time without falling off the cliff when it wears off. Now, right now, you have 3 more days to get it at a discount through my affiliate link. Go to donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. Again, that's donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. I'm putting it in the chat right now. And put in the promo code Donovan Gorilla with no spaces. Again, that's Donovan Gorilla to get 20% off, no spaces, until Friday. I'm going to be headed to the Florida Keys tomorrow morning. Devin and I have a very, very early flight. We're going to be down there for a few days. So I'm going to be out of the studio until Monday. I may do a couple of short streams while I'm down there. Just kind of depends on how things go. But I will be back in the studio full-time on Monday, August 5th at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. All right, let's continue. Number 5, the 5th thing that 99.9% of women would never think of doing to earn and keep a man's trust is never, ever suggest going to a bar or the club with or without him. I had a friend of mine in Vegas whose girlfriend was always wanting to go to the bar or the club. Now, he always told her no because he knows that they're a sausage fest. She was like, no, you can come too. He was like, nope, not doing it. Now, she was a half decent looking woman, but male thirst, as we all know, makes 5s look like 9s. So as soon as she walks into a bar or club, she's got dicks hitting her right in the face from every direction. And she knows this, which is why she asked. You see, the reason why she started asking this stuff is she wanted to branch swing. Okay? She wanted to branch swing. She lost attraction for her man and wanted to go out and find another branch before letting go of him. Okay? And by the way, just as a side note, if your girl asks you to go to the bar or the club or go on a weekend Vegas girls trip to a concert with her friends or any place, we all know she'll get male attention. Okay? If she wants to go to these places where she knows there's going to be male attention, guess what? Your relationship is just about over. Look, man, Rollo Tomasi and I, we discussed this a while back. If she asks, she's already lost the traction for you. Now, you can tell her no, and she may obey you when you tell her no, but she'll ask again at some point down the road, and eventually she'll just go, even if you tell her no. I say this all the time, guys. You guys cannot control a woman. You can only control yourself. If you keep your value high and you keep her in line, then you reduce the odds of her wanting to go out with her friends to look for male attention. But, guys, listen, man, sometimes even that's not enough. This is what you're going to have to resolve in your mind to accept. The red pill and red pill awareness, this isn't the cheat code. This isn't bulletproof anything. There are no guarantees to keep a woman attracted to you. All I can do is tell you what I've learned for you to put into practice, and that will increase the odds of your woman remaining attractive, of staying attractive to your woman and keeping her from being and keeping her from cheating. Okay? But like I said, sometimes not even that's enough. All we can do is kick life's ass and continue to be the 5%ers that we are and let the chips fall where they may. Now, some girls might say, well, maybe she just wanted to go out and have fun. Of course she wants to go out and have fun. She wants to have fun getting banged out in the bathroom at the club. That's a lot of fun. It's funny I mentioned this. I did a podcast with Illimitable Men talking about how girls get together and go to the club. Oh, we're just here to have fun and dance. No, you're not. You're there to get dick. Listen, you guys think I'm full of it? Consider this. Let me ask you this. Would girls ever go to a nightclub if there were no guys allowed? Do you think girls would ever go to a bar for girls' night out if there were only women allowed there? Of course not. So ladies, if you suggest going to a bar or a club, number one, you're not ready for a relationship. And number two, you are telling your man you are looking for his replacement. If Devin ever asks me to go to the bar or the club, I'll say sure. But when you come back, I will have your shit packed because you are out of here. You guys think I'm playing? Listen, I care very much for Devin. We have a good, solid, long-term relationship. But guess what? If she comes at me with that, then at that point, I know eventually she's gonna go with it. She's gonna go whether I tell her she can or not. So that's it. I'm gonna cut my losses. It'll suck, but life goes on. Ladies, if you want to go to the bar or the club, you want that male attention. And if you really love and respect the man you're with, if you really want to be in a relationship with him, then you shouldn't need male attention outside of his. Well, what if he's not giving me attention? Then you're not trying hard enough. Anytime Devin wants to have sex, she showers, she puts on perfume, she throws on a pair of hoops, heels, and lipstick, and walks into the living room. And I act accordingly. If you want your man's attention, ladies, you must earn it. Don't expect a man of value to just give you attention because you're a woman. It doesn't work that way with us. If you absolutely have to go out and shake your ass with your girlfriends, then you are not ready for a relationship, and that's okay. But by the same token, don't complain that he's not committing to you when you're showing that you're not ready to commit. Asking your man, asking the guy you want to be in a relationship with to go to the bar or the club, lets him know that you're not ready. You want all the relationships of being in a relationship without actually being in one. He'll let you go to the club, he'll let you go to the bar, but then he will let you go altogether. Number 6, the sixth thing that 99.9% of women positively will not do to earn and keep a man of value's trust. This is really important. Never, ever talk about your sexual past. Now, to be fair, girls can definitely get behind this one. Girls are like, yeah, I can definitely do that, but not to build his trust. Oh, no. You guys want to cover up your promiscuous pasts. Women who talk about their promiscuous pasts with men automatically take themselves out of the running for a long-term relationship. You're not only promiscuous, you are proud to be promiscuous. Well, what's wrong with sleeping with a few guys? Nothing. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But 5%ers, men in demand, high-value men, dude, we don't want to know about the threesome you had with Kevin in sales and his manager in his office. We don't want to know about the football team running a train on you in college. We don't want to know that you slept with we don't need to know that you slept with 7 guys in 7 days or that you slept with 2 guys in 24 hours. Well, what if he asks? Well, guess what? A man with red pill awareness will never ask you about your sexual past because we know that you will always lie about it. Ladies, we know you're sluts. A telltale sign of a man of value is a man who does not express concern about your sexual past. Guys like us, we know we're going to find out one way or the other because most of you really can't keep your mouths shut. Most promiscuous women can't hide their hoe tendencies, however covert they may be. At some point, we're going to find out. So we're not going to ask you in the first place. We know we're going to find out eventually. But if you proactively talk about your sexual past, you are taking yourself out of the running to be in a long-term relationship with him, period. I've dated girls who have told me how many times they've cheated, who they cheated with, how they got away with it. Then 3 months later, ask me why we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. What do you mean why? Because you bragged about how you cheated on your last boyfriend with his best friend and his boss. That's why. Because you cheated on your last boyfriend with me. That's why. What makes me any different? I'm no different from him. If you cheated on him, you're going to cheat on me. That's not how I roll. Girls are, dude, I remember when this used to happen. Girls used to spill their guts. Tell me all their crazy secrets. Oh, I slept with this guy and that guy. I cheated on this guy and that guy. And then they want to ask, well, why haven't we taken this to the next level? And I'm like, dude, are girls really this oblivious? Do they really not understand that we put 2 and 2 together when they connect the dots for us? Girls don't realize that as soon as they start telling me these stories, I've already placed them in the friends with benefits category. As in, I'm never going to call you for anything but sex and sex alone, meaning I'm coming over, I'm having sex with you, and then I'm leaving. I'm not sticking around to chat. I'm not going to watch TV. I'm not there to cuddle. I'm there to get the booty and get the hell out of there because that is all you are good for. If you want to build a man's trust, do not talk about your sexual past, ladies. Again, if he's a man in demand, he's not asking. And if you've got what you think is a solid guy and he asks, do not tell him. Just say, look, I've made a few mistakes like most women, but I really like you. And your opinion means the world to me. I don't want you to think less of me, so I'd rather not talk about it if that's all right with you. He's not going to press the issue if you put it to him like that. But if he does, guess what? You've got yourself a beta male on your hands. What you have is a man who's not in demand. You don't have a high value man, which means you're not going to be with him long term in the first place. Understand this, ladies. He can't hold something against you that he doesn't know about. And listen, he can make all the assumptions he wants. You may have slept with 30 guys. You may have slept with 300. But if you don't tell him, he doesn't know for sure. And if you do the things you need to do to earn his trust and be wary of and eliminate your hoe tendencies, you're not going to end up telling on yourself. Girls will handle the notch count. Girls will handle the notch count question perfectly, but then turn around and betray what they say with their actions. You guys will be on your phones all the time. You guys will disappear for hours at a time. Or talk about another team building trip that you took with Kevin in sales and his boss. At some point, we're going to figure your asses out. Ladies, you also need to be very, very careful about the stories you tell him that could potentially involve guys that you have slept with. Because 5%ers or not, men are going to put 2 and 2 together. And if you mention too many stories with too many guys or too many stories with one guy, eventually that how many guys have you slept with exactly, that's going to come up eventually. Think about what you say before you say it. Do not talk about things that involve guys that you have been sexually involved with. And for God's sake, do not proactively talk about or brag about your sexual past. Again, women who openly discuss their sexual past automatically eliminate themselves as options for long-term relationships with men of value. Oh, listen, we'll sleep with you all day long, but we ain't committing. And when he starts to distance himself, you'll say, damn, I let him see my phone. Never turned him down for sex, never got out of pocket. Yeah, okay, I may have mentioned Justin at the coffee shop a few times and my boss a couple of times, and we had an open dialogue about our sexual pasts, but why did he not commit? Well, the reason he dumped you is because you talked about your sexual past. Ladies, you guys are steady complaining about men holding your pasts against you. Well, the reason he holds it against you is because you talk about it. Dude, no guy wants to know about your previous sex life. We don't want to know about how you hooked up with your best friend and her boyfriend when you all got high on blow. We don't want to hear about how you gave a guy a blowjob in the club bathroom. We don't want to know you got anal in the parking lot at work while your boyfriend waited for you inside. We don't want or need to know this stuff. We might laugh and chuckle with you, but in the back of our minds, we're thinking, dude, this girl's a hoe. The only thing she's really good for is sex. Now, at this point, we've been through how many of these? 5? Wait, hold on. I'm on number 6. So at this point, let me find my place here. So at this point, most women are probably thinking, okay, I think I can do this. This is a little extreme, but if this is a guy I like, if this is a guy I really like, if this is a guy I could see myself being with long terms, I could see myself doing these things to gain his trust. I don't mind checking in so he knows where I am and what I'm doing. I don't mind giving him access to my phone because I want him to know that I'm not up to anything anyway. I could definitely avoid telling him about my interactions with men other than, that have nothing to do with work. I don't really have any reason to talk to men in public when I'm with him, so that won't be hard. I really like him, so going to the club or the bar on weekends or girls' weekend trips, I can certainly do without. And I can definitely avoid talking about my sexual past because it's something I do with most guys anyway. And if you're thinking these things as a woman, good for you. You have made it to the 10% of women who truly understand why proactively building trust is necessary to keep a man in demand around. But I'm about to eliminate just about all of you with number 7. The 7th way to proactively build ironclad trust with the man you want to be in a long-term relationship with that 99.9999% of women will never do: delete all social media accounts. Don't deactivate them. Don't put them to sleep or on hold. Delete them. Erase them, as in wipe them from existence. This is the one that separates the girls who think they want to be in relationships from the ones who actually do. Listen, it's hard enough for you guys to meet these expectations as it is. There's no question about it. Listen, I've never said any of this would be easy to do, okay? But asking whether or not you would delete your social media accounts in order to build and keep his trust will tell you very quickly whether or not you are serious about the guy you're with. Social media platforms, ladies, have quite literally destroyed you. Not only are you addicted to the constant validation that you get from posting pictures of yourselves, your affairs, your cheating, your hookups with old flames, all of that stuff is facilitated by social media. And people act surprised when they hear that women use social media to cheat. Well, what did you expect to happen when girls advertise themselves? Here's the answer. The same thing that happens when a company advertises their product on TV or the internet. They get customers. And ladies, you need to get rid of all of them. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, everything. You need to have zero online presence. If someone Googles your name, all that should come up are advertisements for background checks. That's it. A woman who is on social media, ladies, is a woman who is still on the market. High value men, we know and understand this very clearly. Can I check it once a month? No. Once a month turns into once a week, and that turns into once a day, and before you know it, you're back on social media. Well, how will I stay in touch with friends and family? You can call or text them. If they mean enough to you, you will have their phone number and they will have yours. Ladies, you want to separate yourself from all the other women he's seeing? You want to show him that you're serious about him? You want to ensure that he never doubts you or mistrusts you? Then this, deleting all social media, is the ultimate sign of a woman who is truly all in. So now you ladies have heard the 7 things that you need to do to proactively gain and keep the trust of a man in demand. And you're probably thinking, Donovan, you're off your rocker. Donovan, you're crazy. All right, hey, listen, that's fine. Nobody's saying you have to do this. But if you have found a man you know is worth committing to long term, and listen, girls know these guys when they see them, whether they're promiscuous or not. A woman's slutty past and inability to pair bond with guys, that doesn't strip you guys of the ability to know which guys are high value or which guys are faking the funk. You guys can spot a fake a mile away. You guys only really ignore your instincts when you're desperate, lonely, or horny. That's really the only time you turn it off. But if you really want this man to take you seriously as a woman he can trust and see himself with long term, then these are the things that are necessary. And if you do these things proactively, I'm here to tell you guys that definitely lets him know that you're serious. Because how many women have suggested these things to him without being provoked? None. That is one of many reasons why I'm with Devin today. I didn't have to tell her to do these things. She did this proactively. I have had women do this stuff in the past before. But Devin is the first one who did it proactively, right? And if you're the one who says, hey, I'm going to put software on my phone and give you access to my account so that you can see that I'm faithful to you at all times. That's going to make an impression on him. And if you can keep it up for an extended period of time and let him see that you're not just out here faking the funk, you'll get that long-term commitment that you're looking for. Again, I want to make it crystal clear here, ladies. Most 5%ers, most men of value, they're not going to tell you that these are their requirements. I would even go as far as to say that most high-value men don't even realize just how much these measures would increase their trust in any particular woman. But if you are proactive in your approach, and again, this is assuming you want to be in a relationship with him, but if you do these things without having to be asked to do them, it clearly tells these men that you are serious about building and keeping his trust, and that you are serious about being in a rock-solid relationship that is built on trust. You're not only going to drastically increase the odds of him committing to you, you are going to separate yourself from 99.9% of women out there. Here's another tip. Don't advertise these things to your girlfriends. Don't get me wrong, there's no need to hide this from them. But what you do to gain and maintain your man's trust, that's your business, unless, of course, they come to you for advice. I'm not saying that go hide around the corner to check in with your man so they don't see. No. Check in with them when necessary. Okay? They're not going to be worried about what you're doing on your phone anyway. By the same token, there's no need to broadcast it either. Hey, I'm checking in with Donovan. The reason I'm telling you not to advertise this stuff is because your friends, ladies, they are not in that 0.01% of women who understand why these things are necessary. All they'll do is tell you what a fool you are for committing to a controlling, possessive man and toxic masculinity and misogyny and all that. I told you guys this yesterday. Devin was getting her nails done and told the nail tech, hey, French manicure, what the man wants, the man gets. The woman to her left says, oh, please no. Well, dude, that woman doesn't even know Devin. She's already judging her for acquiescing to a man. Your friends will be much worse. Never mind the fact that you're doing this of your own free will and volition. Your friends will assume that he is putting a gun to your head because what you're doing is something that most women don't just freely do on their own. What you are doing is not typical of the typical female. How you keep your man's trust is your business. There's no need to hide it, but there's no need to advertise it either. If your girlfriend comes up and asks you, hey, Sarah, I noticed that you and Derek have a rock-solid relationship and he really genuinely trusts you. How can I get Eric to trust me like Derek trusts you? Then you can tell her. But giving your friends unsolicited advice in this regard, it's always a bad idea, ladies. I tell my guys this all the time. You cannot give your friends red pill advice if they don't ask you for it. You can't just start talking about red pill concepts out of the blue, because our friends will always balk at it and look at us like we're crazy. Well, your girlfriends are going to do the same thing if you just out of the blue, unprovoked, say, I let Donovan know where I am and what I'm doing at all times. They'll accuse you of humble bragging, and what happens is your message gets lost and subsequently invalidated by your friends. Not that it wouldn't anyway, but unsolicited advice has never been effective in any capacity. Now, some women may ask, well, what if I do all these things, but he still won't commit? Well, that probably means one of two things. A, he's not ready to commit, or B, he doesn't like you enough to commit to you. Ladies, some high-value men just aren't ready to be in relationships yet. They're on their own timetable. They're happy with their bachelor lifestyle, and they'll settle down when they're ready. Now, maybe he'll grow out of it. Maybe he'll grow out of that phase like most men do at some point, or maybe he won't. There are some guys out there who will never want to be in a committed relationship, and if that's the case, there's nothing you can do about that. You can't put a gun to his head any more than we can put a gun to yours. So at that point, you have a choice to make. You can stick around and wait for him and be ready while continuing to keep his trust, or you can go your separate ways. And look, ladies, I get it. You don't want to spend your prime years waiting on a man who doesn't want a committed relationship, and I don't blame you. And even though these techniques will make an impression on him, even though they will increase your odds, this is not the silver bullet. It's not a cheat code. If a man is not ready to commit, he is not going to no matter what you do. That's life. Life ain't fair. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is that he's not, the other end of the spectrum in terms of why he's not committing to you is maybe because he doesn't like you enough to commit to you. Okay, so he trusts you 100% of the time, but maybe you're a little overweight. Maybe he doesn't like your family. Maybe he doesn't see a future with you. Maybe you can't cook. Maybe you won't cook. Maybe you're not feminine enough. Maybe you're only doing 4 of the 7 things I've talked about today consistently. Or maybe he likes another woman he is seeing more than he likes you. Maybe he's seeing another woman who is younger, prettier, cooks better. I mean, who knows? There could be any number of reasons why he doesn't like you enough to commit to you. But like I said, this isn't the cheat code. If you want to increase the odds of him liking you enough to commit, then maximize the things that are under your control. Hit the gym and watch your diet if you want to maintain a great figure. Learn how to cook. Dress more feminine. Be more feminine. Be more available to him. Be kinder. Have a more docile disposition. There are a lot of things that are under your control that you can do to improve or increase his attraction level to you. In the end, ladies, this is what's necessary to swing the odds in your favor in terms of getting him to commit. Like I said before, most men won't ask you to do these things, but if you are proactive about it, you will show him just how serious you are, just how ready you are to be in a relationship. Maybe he's not ready to commit, maybe he'll never commit, or maybe he doesn't like you enough to commit. But nothing in life is guaranteed. And if you want to increase your odds, these are the things that are necessary. And as I said before, most of you won't do all of these things consistently. Oh, sure, some of you will do some of these things some of the time or when it's convenient for you. Some of you might do all of these things sometimes, and some of you might do all of these things at separate times for short periods of time. And while that may be beneficial to you in the short term, it is not going to serve you in the long term. Because just like you guys know which men fake their high value, we know which women are pretenders. We are extremely adept at picking up on a woman's patterns. And if you're not doing all of these things consistently, then don't be surprised when high value men do not commit. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you back here in the studio on August 5th. And who knows, maybe I'll do a couple of live streams when I'm down in the Keys. Thanks for watching.